Matamba are in season right now, and I decided to make some ice cream and a fermented soda. The fruit has a hard shell that you can open carefully with a knife or a saw and save to use as a cup or a serving bowl. They are also decorated in soda's curious and as musical rattles or sound boxes for instruments like marimba. Once you manage to pry it open, you will discover numerous teardrop-shaped yellow seeds that are covered in juicy brown flesh. The fruit has a mild sweet and sour flavor that is quite floral and fragrant and absolutely delicious. Citric and malic acid accumulate significantly in this fruit and are likely responsible for the sour flavor notes. There are about 9 different species of morapa that you get across the continent, ranging in size and color and of course taste. They all belong to the genus Strychnos and can be harvested while still green and ripened off the tree to be enjoyed for weeks and months to come. The easiest way to get into the fruit though is to simply bash the shell with something heavy like a rolling pin or crack them on the ground. Pop a few seeds in your mouth and suck on the flesh until the seeds are clean. Interestingly, and perhaps relevant if you want to stay alive, the seeds are poisonous and should not be swallowed. The poison strychnine is actually a toxic alkaloid derived from a few Asian species within the Strychnos genus, so consider yourself warned. Majumu can be used to make jams and jellies, fruit rolls, and all sorts of drinks and desserts. I find the inner membrane and the juices left inside the shell have a bit of flavor to them, so I save them to make fermented drinks. Cleaning up the inner membrane is essential anyway if you want to use the shells for any long-term functions, otherwise they will rot. Here I blended the membranes in water with brown sugar and fresh ginger left over from a ginger beer batch I made a few days prior. You can add citrus juice, spices, whatever else you feel like really. I was just messing around with what I had in the house. Eight grams of sugar per liter of liquid is just enough for this to ferment with the addition of yeast. I always have something fermenting, so I usually just decant a small volume of that into the new brew. Use whatever yeast you have access to, but I prefer champagne or cider yeast as they don't smell like bread or beer. If you add more than 8 grams per liter of sugar, you will start to make alcohol, so watch out for that. Ferment for a few days and enjoy over some ice with some fresh citrus. You can see here that I was a bit heavy-handed with the sugar, indicated by the froth and the bubbles everywhere. Before I make the ice cream, I have to process the fresh fruit and separate them from the seeds. Break them apart with your fingers, flood with water, and bring to a gentle simmer on the stove for 20 to 30 minutes, with occasional stirring. Once you have released enough fruit into the water, separate the fruit pulp from the seeds through a sieve or strainer. Fruit pulp back on the stove and reduce the water volume until you have a thick consistency, being careful not to burn anything. Allow to cool and add the morapa pulp to a chilled ice cream base recipe of your choosing. For me, I add at the most about a cup of thick fruit pulp to 1 liter of ice cream base. I also added the seeds just to maximize on flavor extraction. There is a basic ice cream recipe in the description below. Allow the flavor to infuse for a few hours in the fridge, strain again and then churn with whatever method you have on hand. Here I am using dry ice pellets to freeze the ice cream quickly and develop a creamy, smooth texture. Serve your fresh ice cream in the umkwakwa shells and enjoy the delicate, floral, sweet and tangy notes. Pamsoroi.